morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Yeah, Sunday morning. So today we are doing hair combos. Hi, Kathleen. I had the request a while ago, ever since I started doing like the pumpkin combo sheets. And then I had a few people message me because they had thought I had already done the hair combos. So I thought, why not do that live? I'll take some color requests as best I can, but I'll kind of be also just kind of going through them. But yeah, today we're going to do some hair color combos. Now, I did share in my community tab the little practice sheet that I've created. So you can, when you get it, you either get the dark scale, or sorry, you get both. You get dark and light scale. So I created a little practice sheet for those who want to practice their combos, but by no means do you need this. It's just if you want to sit there and practice the technique and then write down the color combos, you have a little handy dandy sheet. Now, just like with the pumpkins, the pumpkin combos that I did, I'll be doing the same thing. I'll be going through and making combos and then uploading a whole packet. And I will probably upload each packet by brand, just because I have a lot of different requests. So I did put up a poll, and the brand that won for today's stream is the Polychromos. Hi, Brooke. But don't worry if you voted for something else or left a comment. I know a few of you said Arctics. There was another one that weren't listed there. When I create my packet of hair combos, I'll go back and do a lot of other brands. The voting was just for today because I had to stick to one brand. It would have been chaos trying to, flip-flop. So I'll start releasing them as I finish each brand. Obviously, Polly's will probably go first just because I'm going to already start it on the stream. But I'll do Prisma, I'll do Arctics, I'll do my Derwent Pro Color. Hi, Stacy, and all that. Now, I will admit my preferred pencil for hair is Derwent Pro Color. And surprisingly enough, my second place would be Black Widow. Black Widow pencils have just the right amount of hardness, but they blend out nicely. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I actually prefer Pro Colors, but that doesn't mean I can't make good hair without them. This one here was actually done with Black Widow pencils. So it's I'm just kind of giving you an idea. This one here was done with Derwent Lightfast. This one was done with Grand Dash Luminance. I'm not gonna lie, Lumies aren't my favorite to use. They get a little, I don't know, don't like the way they jive. But there's a lot of different pencils you can use, including Prismacolor, which I had some requests for. So yeah, I'll just start working on them and start releasing them by brand as I finish them. Polychromos going first. So I thought we'd get started. Now, because we're doing Polychromos for the live stream today, I've got my little trusty color chart out. And then Polychromos are a pretty good one to use for hair just because they hold their point pretty well. But they're not my favorite. Like I said, my go-to is the Pro Color and then Black Widow, and then I would probably lean towards Polly's next, but then I also use my Pablos, which are pretty nice for hair. I mean, really, any pencil can be used. I did do that one with Crayola not too long ago, so I can make a whole packet of Crayola colors as well. But I thought it'd be fun to get a few different color combos out today, and we'll see how many we can get done while we're here. So for this, I'm using the light version of my sheet. If I can pull it out. Unfortunately, my printer printed more copies of the dark version, so I may, if I run out, swap over to the dark one, the dark side, if you will. But I'm going to use the lighter one just because I want you guys to be able to see the colors better, and especially if I do like a blonde or something like that. So let's get started. I'm going to do some basic ones that I get requests a lot for, and then I can start taking color requests. I like to do all hair combos. Now, I will tell you, the more colors you use when doing hair, the better it's going to look and the more realistic. Could you get away with 4 or 5? Yes. However, my best ones tend to be, like this one here was an 8 pencil adventure. This one actually I think was only like 5. But yeah, me going under 5 is pretty rare, just because of the depth. Now, here's the thing. If you want colors like red hair color is actually the one that'll take the most colors, because you need to bring in touches of brown, orange, you got to get in some yellows, and of course you've got to build up your reds. But red hair requires a lot. So I think my last red hair combo was like 10 pencils. But it looked nice fiery red. So just keep that in mind. Often the combos, there's quite a few. I'll try to also do some simple ones with less pencils, but if you really want that more realistic look and the depth, you're going to have to add more pencils. Look at your hair in the mirror and watch how the light captures every little color that's in your hair. Pull up pictures too, and you can see all those different colors in there, and that kind of gives you an idea. I do have my phone nearby in case there's a color someone specifically wants to see, and I need to kind of look it up and pick some colors. But let's get started. So, actually, no, we'll start with a nice blonde because I get this request a lot. So we're going to do a lighter blonde. So hold that thought while I pull the pencils out. I didn't really pre-plan. Gotta make sure I pull the right ochre. Okay, and when you're doing blondes, you've got to be really careful about what you're laying down, especially light blondes. So this is going to be, because you don't want it to be light yellow ochre, yeah. You don't want it to be orangey or bright yellow. You want it to look blonde. Okay, and then I make cream. And then now my best light blonde color combo actually is with Pro Color. Polychromos is kind of missing a key color in between there, but I am going to use a gray to make it work. So this combo will be more complicated than it has to be, but I've got to make it work. Oops, I didn't want white. I wanted my cream. Where'd the cream go? There she is. Okay. And then I just need my warm gray. Warm gray number 1. Pink and a bright green. Yep, I'll try to get to as many as I can today. Okay, so first things first, no matter what, you need to sharpen. You need a very nice sharp point, and you also need to embrace the art of turning your pencil while you are flicking your hair. And the reason for that is your pencil is going to lose its point pretty quickly if you don't keep turning it. Oh, if I was using Prismas, I actually don't like ginger root because the problem is, so I'm going to do I'll probably do a whole video on Prisma hair. Because basically all the techniques you're going to see today don't apply when you're using a very opaque pencil like Prisma. I actually change up my technique for Prisma. Let me zoom you guys in. So yeah, there's a reason I don't often do hair with Prisma, but most importantly, the technique is different because of the way it has to layer. It's a very opaque, thick pencil. You can't layer it the way I do other brands. And then of course you've got the whole wax bloom you want to avoid. So different techniques. So I'm going to have to make a whole video on that one and kind of show you guys what I mean exactly. But let's get started. So for the sake of sanity, and because some of these pencils can have different names depending on how old your polychromos are, I am going to, excuse me, go by the numbers in the order that they would be used. So this is going to be burnt ochre, which is 187. Light yellow ochre, which is 183. Cream, which is 102. Warm gray number 1, which is 270. And then ivory, which is 103. So when I'm doing hair, I flick the hair, except when I'm using Prismacolor. And then when I'm using Prismacolor, I actually have to break out an X-Acto knife. So keep that in mind. Yes, a harder pencil is way better for hair. One, it holds its sharpened point, you know, so that's always good. But also you can get a more realistic sense of like the hair, little strands of hair everywhere, at least in my opinion. Okay, so that's why I like the Pro colors. Those things never have to sharpen. I can sit here and like flick for hours before I have to sharpen. I replace polychromos frequently. They don't stay as hard or sharpened. But my Pro colors, I've only replaced black and grape, and I've owned those for like 5 years. So if you want a pencil that never breaks down. Okay, so we're gonna do a light blonde without being a yellow blonde. Now the grayscale is a little dark, but it'll still work. And so we're going to start with burnt ochre 187. And this is a color that I am only going to use in the darkest of darkest areas. I should have made these boxes smaller or bigger. I don't know. Flicking hair in tiny places gets a little dicey. So all I do is the flicking motion. You basically need to keep a light hand about it. Turn your pencil as often as you can. I'm going to have to awkwardly angle this page a lot. But we're starting with our burnt ochre. I'm not going to put too much down yet because I can always come back. So also a harder lead and a color that is, or a pencil that is more transparent and less opaque is nice because you can build up the layers. So polychromos are great for that. They don't build up too fast. All right, now I'm going to take the light yellow ochre, and this is a color that I'm still going to start at the dark base. But I'm also going to start bringing it out in some spots, not too much because this is a golden color. And I'm not going for the golden yellowish look here. I want a lighter blonde. And I'll try to look up as I'm flicking hair, but I swear this is the one. This is why I haven't done this video, because I'm like, this is the one area where you'll catch me just zoning out. Let's bring some up here. So I'm still starting this at the base, but as you can see, I'm bringing it out a tad bit further than I did my darkest color. Turn the pencil, and then wherever I start my pencil, I flick, but I lift up. So that's the big thing. You need to lift up. I got a sample paper here. So you kind of push down and lift as you're flicking. Like that's the most important. If you keep a heavy hand all the way to the end, you're not going to get the same effect. Okay, so now we have my cream, which I'm also starting at the base, but this one's going to come out a lot further. Oh man, I'm gonna have a hand cramp if I do a lot of these today in a small box like this. It's actually easier to flick hair in larger spaces. It's fine. I'll survive. I'll survive. So I'm kind of starting at the base, and this is layering on top of those other two. So it's kind of toning them down a bit, but also I'm bringing it out a bit more. And this one you can be a little bit more liberal with because you're not creating a yellowish color. Okay. Now I'm going to take my warm gray #1, and I'm not really starting at the base with this one, kind of going about like a quarter of the way from it. Warm grays and French grays and those type of grays are good for hair. If you're going to use a cold gray, don't do it unless you're making like a black hair or if you're actually making like silver hair. Okay. Then I'm going to take my ivory. On this one, I'm just going to kind of fill in some gaps here. So I'm not really flicking, I'm just kind of coloring in a little bit on the center. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my cream. Like I said, you build it up. And I'm not a fan of layering, but I find flicking hair incredibly therapeutic, which is probably why my coloring style has gravitated to flicking almost everything. Flower petals, leaves, you name it. It's just so relaxing. Now there is a really nice light blonde combo I have with the Pro colors, but that's because they have, shoot, what's the name of that color? Primrose? I think it's Primrose. And it's just a little bit lighter than the cream color here, but I don't want to mix brands. Ideally, like when I'm doing hair, I mix brands, but I'm trying to keep it by brand for those who just don't own multiple brands of pencils, you know, because sometimes I'll combine my Black Widows with my Pro colors if there's a certain shade I need and it's missing. All right. Now I'm going to grab my light yellow ochre, just a teensy. Some of these areas where it's darker. Well, I mean, you can have 15 brands. It just, I'm making this by brand just for those people who don't have multiple brands to mix and match. I'm still on my light yellow ochre. I'm just adding a tiny bit right here. Granted, this is like half of a hair that I sketched out, and then I cut it off into a little square. So it's kind of annoying because I know this goes up into like a dark area. So I'm like so tempted. All right, so I'm going to grab my warm gray again. Man, I turned on the heater because my studio was so cold and now I'm roasting. Winter. Can't ever get the temperature right up here. Okay. Now we're going to take our cream. I'm going to bring this out a little more. I bring it to the center, but I don't let it overlap. Like, you need to leave your highlight space. Okay, and then I have my ivory going over. I know it's champagne. That's the different color I was thinking of. Champagne. Yeah. Okay. Warm gray. Tone down some of that yellow. And then I know on the grayscale, sometimes it can be a little hard to see, so I'll take a picture after as well. Sometimes it doesn't always come through as well on camera. But as you can see, it's a lot of flicking and layering, and I'm just doing a little box. So back to cream. Just trying to bring it out just a little bit more in areas where it's not touching. All right, there we go. See, nice light blonde hair color. So we're gonna call this our Hello Blondie. Simple-ish enough. But if you do this in a larger scale, it'll look a lot lighter. In a small box, it's not going to look as light, but it's still nice and light. And most importantly, not yellow. So that's the goal. And then, like I said, if you put it on a full thing of hair, it'll be nice and light. So that's a blonde one. A nice light blonde, because that's one I get requested a lot. Oh man, I'm gonna have to constantly put these back so I don't lose track of what's what. All right. Now, is there any other shades of blonde that anyone would want to see? Like, I can do a dirty blonde. Actually, I will do a dirty blonde just so I can show you guys. Whoop. Hi, Melissa. All right, we're going to do a dirty blonde, which will incorporate some of the same colors, but not all the way. Because dirty blondes have some brown in their hair. So I'm going to do, okay. I feel like I'm missing a pencil somewhere, so that's kind of making me nervous. Let's see if it's missing when I go to pull for it. Oh my gosh, it is. I'm missing my light yellow ochre. How did that? There it is. Okay. I need my dark maples. Well, I really don't know. Yeah, we're going to do that one. Okay. And then, again, we don't want to create a yellow head of hair. Okay. So I'm going to have to sharpen those two. And then I want to add just a touch. Let's see. Probably gonna grab my brown ochre. Where's that one at? Nope, not you. Okay. This is where it's gonna get weird messing with these colors, but all right. So let me sharpen these up. Only the ones that need it. Okay. So we're gonna do more of a dirty blonde. Have a little bit more darkness to it. So I'm gonna be doing oops, I can write. All right, so we're gonna be using brown ochre, which is 182. Burnt ochre again, so 187. Light yellow ochre again, which is 183. But we're also using dark Naples ochre, 184. And then cream, 102. I mean, you can use this combo for a sandy blonde right here. And if you want it like a little bit darker, just go a little heavier with your 187 and 183. And that'll help you get that. So we're going to start with our brown ochre, which is 182. And kind of give her and like I said, for blondes, I don't usually use my polys. I usually go for my pro colors. I like the colors there. Even Black Widow colors work better for blonde because they have a few more neutral tones that aren't yellowish. So yeah, I mean, the range of colors you have kind of plays a role, and it is nice if you're okay mixing and matching some of your pencils to get the combo you want. But I want to keep it nice and I guess pure. Don't want to dilute it by combining brands. Sure, we'll go with that. Okay. Now we're going to grab our burnt ochre. Same thing. I'm starting in my darker areas and carrying it up. Okay. This will be like our dirty blonde color. But we're not trying to make her yellow. Okay. And then we got our light yellow ochre. Still coming in from the base on this one, but I'm pulling it out further than the other colors. This is a color you have to be careful with though, because it does have a lot of like yellow. It's a warm yellow. If you accidentally put down too much, just take like an ivory and go over it. Okay. Now I've got my dark Naples ochre, again, a color that's got a lot of yellow to it. And I'm also pulling this one out a little further. But I'm still starting at the base. She's going to be kind of like a honeyed dirty blonde. And I always say, like, if you're practicing hair combos, like pull up images on Google, Pinterest, whatever. We're on, oops, cream, by the way. Just so you can kind of look at the color itself and see how it looks. Like, see all the different colors you see in that. Like when I'm making a brown color combo, you know, I'll look and see all the different shades. Like, sometimes I'll get a hint of like a little bit of blonde in there or red or whatever. It just kind of depends on the color you're creating. But like, I learned combos by just looking at images and then trying to pick out pencils that matched the look I was trying to get. I'm leaving tiny bits of white space naturally for my highlight with this one. You could use ivory if you wanted to as well. But this one I'm pulling pretty close to the center, but I'm not straight color blocking it. Okay. Now we're going to go back to our brown ochre. Be nice and light with it. Like my favorite colors to do are purples, because I love purples. Blue hair is kind of fun because you can mix in some greens. You can even add some yellows and purples into that if you wanted. In fact, there's a combo I'm working on downstairs that's blue, purple, and gray. It's not coming together like I like, but it looks cool. It's just taking more work. All right, a little bit of my burnt ochre. So I got a little flustered because I was like, oh, I had to keep adding more and more pencils to bring it together. I think I've got like 4 blues and 3 different shades of purple, and then I've got my grays. Oh, and I added pink. I just kept adding more and more. All right, light yellow ochre. All right. Then while I'm working on this, if there's a color you want to see, just pop it in the chat. I already saw the request for, what was it, bright pink and neon green, or just bright pink? Did you want the bright pink and neon green as in together, or 2 different? Getting into the complexities of ombre hair with this little box is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. This is cream. I think ombre mixes I'm going to have to save for like videos where it's a full tutorial, because while I could give you the combo, I can't necessarily create the ombre effect in this tiny little box. I do need a different worksheet for that. All right, so we've got our dirty blonde. I might even add just a touch more dark Naples. My coffee just got delivered, so I need to text my daughter. Yep, I would use this. I mean, but I flick everything. So the question, or the flicking technique doesn't really change. Though when I'm coloring Hannah Carlson and like Hannah Lynn pages, I tend to do the hair differently unless I'm in the mood to make it look more realistic, which I've done before. One sec, I just got to go have my daughter retrieve my coffee. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, you don't have to have grayscale, but if you're new to hair, I would recommend practicing on grayscale. It does help, but not required. Yeah, like with Hannah Lynn hair, I have a specific technique. This is cream I use for hers because I just like to do it in a different way. And then with Hannah Carlson and artists like that, the first thing is I kind of have to erase some of the lines, the heavy lines, and then sort of go from there when I'm creating my hair. But I would use the same technique. I would create my shadows, create my highlights, and then just flick it in. But I'm usually too lazy to sit there and erase the lines. I'm like, I don't have time for this. All right, so we got our dirty blonde. Hi to anyone I missed. Okay, let's see. I will do. I'm not bothering to try to keep these like in some sort of color order. Otherwise, we'd be here all day. All right. I did see the request for pink, so I can do a pink. Let me just get some of these pencils put away so I'm not like completely losing my marbles later. All right. The E in blonde. You know what's funny? The blonde was really bugging me, the word blonde, because I looked it up and there's not really a distinct answer on it. In fact, they said males, if you're going to use it for males, then you omit the E. Females, you keep the E. And I was like, oh, for Pete's sake, that's complicated. So let's do a pink because I had seen that request. So I'll do a light pink first because those are always fun. Need a nice, good, dark, or nope, sorry, we're doing light pink. Hello. All right, where's my pinks? This will take me a second while I'm trying to hunt them all down. So do I need that one? Nope, it's gotta be on the other one. All right, so I need my pink carmine. Rose. Dark flush. Ooh, this pencil's getting a little short. Maybe I'll add, no, I don't like the way that'll look. So I'm gonna add that one. Then I'm also gonna add my cream. All right. I'm debating if I want to add a little. No, I'll stick to these ones for now. Okay, so this is gonna be a lighter pink color. I printed these on my favorite cardstock, but oh, that one I totally heard snap. But you don't have to. You could totally do this on printer paper, so you're not wasting your expensive paper. I just like my paper, so it's just me. Okay. This is actually a color combo that I did for a whatchamacallit. Why can't I use words today? Christine Curon page. All right, so we're going to use pink carmine, which is 127. Hang on a sec. Okay, and then we're going to use rose carmine, which that's running low, 124. And then dark flesh, 130. And then light flesh, 132. And then my cream again, which is 102. Why did I write 10? Oh, nope, the 102 is right there. All right, 102. And no, not all my hair color combos have cream in them. This is just a combo I've used before. I might even add some pink matter, but we'll see. All right, so we're going to start with our pink carmine. And this is just a light pink, not really a hot pink. Just a light pink. So pink carmine's like my darkest color. If I was smart, I would have put a clipboard on this so I could drink my coffee while doing this. Thank you. That's yours. All right. Sorry. Child delivering coffee. Oh, grab the dog. And dog running over my camera holder. Okay. Had to get my white peppermint mocha fix. Because I am not sleeping well. I don't know what's up. I like read and I go to bed at a decent hour and I am just not, like, I can't fall asleep, so that's not helping, but that's the weirdest thing. All right, now we're on Rose Carmine. But then I'll be like tired all day, so I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go to bed. And then I go to bed and, yeah, still awake. But I quit reading at like 9:30, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to bed now because I'm super tired and not sleeping well. And then my brain's just like, I'm alive, but it's been dead like all day. Which I'm pretty sure is the definition of insomnia, but whatever. I might go out of the box lines here, but whatever. Like I said, this is easier on a larger scale, but if we did this on large scale, we'd be here till, well, February for me to do a bunch of hair combos because the hair process does take a while. I have gotten faster though. I remember a full like set of hair used to take me like 5 hours, 6 hours. And I can do it in like an hour or two depending on the combo. All right, so we've got our dark flesh. This one I'm going to pull out a little bit further. We put up our tree yesterday with the lights. My son was at his girlfriend's though for their Thanksgiving. They did it like yesterday. So we didn't do ornaments, but we have a rule in this house, no tree until Thanksgiving is over. And it was funny because we were at our family Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving and everyone had their tree up and I'm like, guys, let us have Thanksgiving. But also my son's birthday was on Thanksgiving and I don't know, I just feel bad like trumping his birthday with Christmas. Bad enough he's got to share it with turkey. But yeah, now my 8-year-old is so ready for Christmas. Like all yesterday, she's like, okay, Thanksgiving's over. Can I decorate? She brought up all the decorations herself. I walk out of my room and like half my house is decorated the way that an 8-year-old will decorate it. So yeah, it's an interesting combo. But yeah, I absolutely refuse to put up my tree until after Thanksgiving. No offense to those who do. No offense to those who do. But yeah, I've got rules and it's been that way forever. Same thing with like Christmas lights up. I'm like, what are we doing? Oh, hi, Ryan. But yeah, it's like my kids are hilarious now. We're using light flash because we'll be driving and I'll see Christmas, I try to avoid like the Christmas lights because it just unreasonably makes me upset. I'm like, it's not even Thanksgiving. Because out here in Utah, literally after Halloween, Everyone's Christmas lights are up on their house. I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake. Now, I could understand putting them up because you don't want to get up there this time of year. It's like straight up ice and you're just asking to break something. But don't turn them on. Good Lord. Plus, come on, let's be green. Think of Mother Nature and all that electricity. But yeah, no tree until after Turkey Day. But my daughter, we put that stupid tree up, and that thing is a monstrosity every year. I'm like, gosh, it is so big. It takes us hours, and then I'm like, okay, kids, have fun separating all the little branches. Good luck. See you next year. All right, so now I got my cream. I'm actually going to flick this in over my layers of pink. And then bring it to the center. Yeah, thankfully, since my daughter is like so ready for Christmas, she's pretty much decorated the whole house. There's not much left other than putting all the ornaments on the tree. And I did tell my kids, in a couple years, I'm claiming the tree downstairs and they can start decorating the one upstairs. Because if I'm going to spend hours putting up that monstrosity of a tree, I want it decorated all cute. All right, now we're going to dark flesh. Plus, it's not like my kids ever go in the main living room anyway. Might as well decorate the thing that I gotta look at and spend hours putting together the way I want to. I want it all cute. Yeah, there's some people out here who will put them up and just not light them. But there's about 90% more that literally turn them on the day after Halloween. I'm like, oh, for Pete's sake. This isn't the craft store. We don't need to be months ahead of the seasons, people. You know, when Halloween stuff goes up in June. Like, drives me bonkers. All right, light flesh. I would break out my pencil extender, but I am lazy. I'm just bringing this a little bit more out to the center now to cover up my cream, not all the way, because the cream's kind of carrying the weight of my highlight. But I want this to go over it, so it's not looking like a yellow center here. So I'm just kind of making some light flicks. Ugh, when they're this tiny, they're hard to turn. Speaking of which, I don't think I have in my open stock bin a light flesh. Oh, shooty. I hope Blick has a good Cyber Monday deal going on, because I just realized I have a few pencils I was supposed to, or I had planned to, restock for Black Friday. Oops. I got sidetracked. All right. Just pull that out. Also, if you want to save your wrist from flicking like this, don't do this. Just literally keep your hand on your surface and let your fingers move. Because once you start doing this, that's where your hand starts to hurt. Like, I literally have my hand planted on the desk. All right. Needs a little more. So I got my dark flesh. We're just gonna. Problem is right here in this highlight area, it's gonna look wacky, but that's because it's leading up into another highlight. I tried to pull a part of my portrait I was working on that had some good shadows and highlight areas, but then I had to like cut them off. Okay. Now, if I was using like Pro Color or Black Widow, you would still see a lot of the flicks here. But polychromos do eventually start building up a little, and they build up quicker than Pro Color. I mean, everything builds up quicker than Pro Color. You have to sit here and flick for 50 years before you're like, wow, I think it finally built up with the Pro Colors. All right. I'm actually going to pull out my ivory real fast and just kind of go over the center here. And I do not use blender pencils for hair, because if I'm going to sit here and flick for a half hour, I'm not going to blend it out. That just seems like a waste of my wrist. White hair would be kind of hard to do on the gray scale here. And I don't have my eraser up here to remove some stuff. So I might have to, I'll have to create that, and maybe I'll make like a mini video showing that one, like a white and silver type thing. Because that definitely would be fun. But it's just the colors I've got, or the grayscale right here, I mean, it'd suck it up and we wouldn't really see it. I need to erase some of the lines. All right, let me get, we'll do a darker pink. So let's do a purpley pink. I can do like a dark gray combo. I just can't do like a white silvery combo without erasing some things. And like I said, I don't have that on me. All right, I want to do a purpley pink. Let's see. Purpley pink is the new term. Like purple. Okay. Do I want crimson? I think. Nope, we're going to do the other one. And then I'm going to do my. All right. And yes, we're going to actually label this purpley pink. I'll even do a violet with some blues in it. I'm kind of itching to do that. Yeah, I can do a black hair. So black, there's quite a few ways to do black hair. You incorporate grays, and I usually add some blues. But you can also incorporate purples. You can add browns, just depending on what you're trying to, achieve. All right. I haven't flicked hair in so long that my fingers already are mad at me. All right, so we're going to use, for this purpley pink, we're going to use 160, 125, 123, 128, and 119. Let's see. Am I totally convinced I like that? Yeah. All right. Oh my, gotta keep these in order in my hands while grabbing my drink. Okay, so we're gonna start with our, I always screw up this name, Manganese Violet, also known as 160. I gotta make sure I'm on camera. And I'll do some browns and some reds because I do get a lot of requests for browns. There are so many ways to do brown hair. I mean, you can add, some yellowish undertones. You can add red. You can add even some purple. Brown is actually a very complex color. Not as crazy as red. Red hair is very complex because it's like, are you going for a, ginger red? Are you going for like more of a subtle red? Gets a little crazy. Okay. All right. Now this is middle purple pink. These little corner pieces are going to drive me bonkers. It's fine though. Everything's fine. All right. And I can do wacky hair colors too. Like I said, I probably can't do any ombres in this small little box, especially because it's dipping between my shadow and highlight. So it's kind of hard to make an ombre when I don't have a cascade to work with. Same with like balayage effects. Those get a little dicey in such a tiny area. I mean, I can of course just ignore the grayscale, but it'll look weird with the grayscale poking out. I might actually go back and create, I could just pull the layers off and then put my line art version up. Because when I drew this, I started with line art and then added a layer in Procreate and then added the grayscale. So I could go just spruce up my line art version and put that up with the little packet as well for those who don't want to do with a grayscale. Okay, now we're on to fuchsia. I'll pull this one out just a teensy more. This will actually be kind of fun to create packets by brand of hair color combos because my favorite thing in the world is to sit there and flick hair. It's like my therapy. So I can just sit there all night making a ton of hair combos. It's kind of like, I need to show you guys my book. So I spent, 2 months straight of just coloring Hannah Lynn hair and creating a ton of combos. And I need to share all those combos. Like I have 2 sketchbooks full of just the combos. They're not like this because I color Hannah Lynn hair a little bit more, I don't know, cartoony. But yeah, that's all I did for a few months. I'd color the hair and just leave the rest of the picture completely unfinished, and it was so nice. All right, so light purple pink, also known as what is it? Purpurosa hell. I always giggle at that. Call me immature. All right. A little blue would look so lovely in this, but we're doing purpley pink. I'm just picturing a really pretty blue violet. I'm also bringing this one out a little bit further. And then, of course, what I'll do is after the stream, you can leave a comment with colors that we don't get to today, because obviously I can't do every single color, but then I'll make sure to include that in the packet. All right. Now we're on to light magenta, which I'm starting from the middle and flicking towards the center. I know it's Sunday, but it's not going to be a relaxing Sunday for me. We're doing a mini Thanksgiving here at the house just for us, but it's because anytime we go to family Thanksgivings, I hate it because there's no leftovers. And that's the whole thing. I'm like, that's what I'm here for, the leftovers. So I always do like a mini one for just me and my family a couple days after Thanksgiving. So we're doing that tonight. All right. Okay. I want to add another color. Yeah, you can do these on line art. You don't have to use grayscale. I just have the grayscale there because it's easier for people to practice on grayscale. But you can just use these combos on line art. I don't like this color as my lightest color. So I am going to, and the blue violets are such, let's see. Trying to add my light flesh back in here, which is 132. Oh, it's so tiny and pathetic. All right. So I'm going to take my light flesh. Yeah, perfect. There we go. And I'll bring that one all the way through the center. It'll come off looking a little peachy against all this pink and purple. All right. Now we're going back to our 160, which is our darkest purple. I'm just jerking it up a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going back to middle purple pink. I don't necessarily like when I go back for layers 2, 3, 4, and 5,000, I don't necessarily go in order. You just start picking colors that you feel you need to add more of. Like if I want more, purple in my shadows, I go to my darker color. If I want to add a little bit more of a hotter pink, I pull out my like fuchsia. You kind of have to play that by ear, and that just is more of a thing you practice till you start to see it kind of thing. But I mean, there's no wrong way to do it. Like if you end up using less of your purple for this combo, it's not going to hurt the color. All right, now I've got my light purple pink. But all I can say is if you're going to do hair, plan on it taking a while because I've already been streaming for an hour. Oh, hair. Hair. All right. Okay, now we've got my light magenta. And I'm kind of just bringing this towards the center a little bit because I don't want that light flesh to be overwhelming. All right. So I'm currently boarding some dogs. Well, I'm in my semi-midlife crisis for my career. And I've got like a little schnauzer here, but then I'm also boarding our dog trainer's dog while he's out of town for Thanksgiving. And oh my gosh, my house is a madhouse. I've got my huskies, then I've got a Belgian Malinois, and then I got a schnauzer. Ugh. I mean, the nice thing is my trainer's dog is a breeze to watch, as I would, you would assume, professional trainer's dog and all. But it's funny because she follows me everywhere. I'm like her alpha buddy. But then she gets a lot of my attention, and so Scout, my oldest husky, gets jealous and just walks around the house pouting because she is a husky and they hold grudges. So I'm going to pay for that for the next week. Just stop being dramatic. Goodness. Shannon is referring to my my book. For those who don't know what the heck she's talking about. Because I'm working on book 2 of my books, and she's my beta reader. And also my person I just messaged and complained to. Shannon, this book sucks. So I only have the 2 huskies now. We're back on our light flesh. I'm just adding a touch here and there. I only have the 2 huskies now, but they are more than enough. Attitude, especially now that my one daughter is becoming a teenager, if you all know what I mean. Whew, that's enough snark for my lifetime. All right, I'm going back to my light magenta. That attitude on my 12-year-old, man. Whew. There's days I'm just like, don't you have friends' houses you can go just stay at, lurk at? Can I give you a bunch of chamomile tea? Take a nap? But yeah, my husky Scout holds grudges. So all week after these two dogs I'm boarding leave, she is going to be, oh, such a joy to be around. Because she's an alpha dog, but so is our trainer's dog, and our trainer's dog is more alpha than Scout can be. So Scout kind of pouts that she's given up her alpha status. All right, there's our purpley pink. I'll take a picture after because it's a lot more purpley on my end. All right, let me put these back here real quick. Let me do a black hair because I know that was requested. Yeah, it's funny. I get people all the time that are like, I'm going to get a husky. What do you recommend? And I'm like, not getting a husky. If you enjoy your peace, quiet, and sanity. Okay. So let's get the colors for this. I'm going to do black. Okay, so like I said, black is a complex color. You got a bajillion ways to do black hair. I'm going to do a black with a tinge of blue in it. But there's so many ways you can do black hair. I could do black with, some dark browns. I could even do reds, purples, but we're going to go with a blue angle. My next favorite version is adding in a lot of grays, but I want to do the blackish blue because when I used to dye my hair jet black, which was a long time ago, I had a nice blue sheen to it. So let's get these colors out. I haven't done black hair with polys in a while. Huskies were your dream breed. They're everyone's dream breed till they own them. Then they're like, oh my God, what did I do? I've conditioned myself. I'm used to the husky drama, but anytime I meet people who aren't used to it and they're like, I'm gonna get a husky. I'm like, okay, how about you take my dog for a couple days and then you come back to me and tell me if you still want that husky. All right, and then I need one more. Debating if I want to add in my warm grays or my cold grays, but if we're going on the blue route, cold is best. All right, so I've got that one, and then we'll use cold gray. 4. Okay, where's my 4 at? Because that one seems to have gone MIA. Tom needs a husky. That'd be too much for me. Fairy hair. Yes. I was actually going to do a purplish blue color if I can get the time. And that's one of my favorites for fairy hair. Okay, I'm trying to keep this black hair simple. I would honestly add about 4 more colors. But I don't want to scare away anyone too new. You know what? I'm going to have to add that other color though. Yeah, I'm going to have to. And also we're going to break some color rules with this, so watch out. I can't wait to see the comments on that. All right. Okay. So I'm trying to keep this as small on the pencil amount, but a girl can only do so much. So we're going to use black, which is $1.99. I can't write now because my hand is cramping. Dark indigo, $1.57. I'm also writing them down in the order I'll be using them-ish. Warm gray, 6. This is where I'm breaking color rules. I'm combining warm and cool. Look at me. Cool gray, 6, which is $2.35. If I can write. Cold gray. Why is that one there? You're supposed to be my highlight. Indanthrene blue, $2.47. And then we've got cold gray, 4, which is $2.33. Like I said, I would totally add more. Ooh, this is good. There we go. Okay, so you do indeed use black to make black hair, but you don't use as much of it as you would like to think. Use more in the than just shadows, but you also add a lot of other colors. So black is an interesting hair color to do. And also, I do not like the black from Polychromos. I most definitely prefer the black off of, heck, even Black Widow. But my favorite, again, broken record, is the Pro Color. And the reason for that is the black on Polychromos sometimes has a brownish tinge to it in the right light. I don't know why, but I've noticed that, which really screws up my black hair color. Like, even looking at it now, I'm like, it has a very brownish tone. So we're gonna start with the black, but not put heavy layers down. We'll bring it back out in a minute. Okay, now you're gonna have your dark indigo. I'm going to be pulling these colors further out than I would other hair combos. So this is going to come out a lot further than I have with other darker colors for shadows because black hair is shiny. But it's still black. Okay. And while you're creating this color, it's going to go from looking blue to gray to all sorts of things. And then once you finish layering it, it will look black. So if you're like, oh my gosh, it's too blue, don't worry, just keep going. I have done a lot of colors with Pablos. They're not bad, actually. And like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, by the way, I'm on my warm gray 6. At the beginning of the stream, what I'm going to do, because I did the pumpkin combos, but I did those with all Prisma. And I had so many requests for different pencil brands for hair. So what I'm going to do is probably create packets by brand. Obviously, Polychromos will go first because I've already started. And I'll just put those up on my shop as they're done. So I'll create some with Pablos because I've used Pablos. I'll probably even create ones with my Lyra Rembrandts because they're not too shabby for hair. So like more obscure brands I might combine into a single packet, but Polychromos, Pablos, Pro Color, Black Widow, and all that will be separated into their own. And then for Prisma, I'm going to have to create a different video because the technique for Prisma is different than what I'm doing right now. All right, now we're on to our cold gray. And now it's time to gasp because I'm putting cold gray on top of warm gray. Oh my gosh. The color rules have been broken. And I'm only making the joke because I've had someone comment once that you can't combine a warm and a cool color. And I was like, says who? I'm not mixing paints. I'm making a hair color. Now, if I was mixing paints, yeah, it gets a little dicey, but even then you can get away with it. All right. Why do I mix them? To create the depth of black hair, to be honest. I don't mix them when it comes to watercolors, but that's a whole different story. You mix a cool and a warm watercolor, you get kind of a wacky color. But in all honesty, there really aren't rules in art, despite what everyone says. All right, Indanthrone Blue. This one I'm going to pull closer to the center because when my black hair reaches its highlight, you're going to see the blue. All right. Okay. Now we've got our cold gray 4. This one I'm just putting in the center ever so lightly. I'm also going to leave a lot of white space. No, not a lot. Not a lot. Not a lot, but more than usual. Okay. Now we're back to our black. Now that I've put down all my base colors, go in and create. So basically what you do there with black is you get down all those colors that you would see in the sheen of black hair under the light and create the base. Then you start going in and layering to darken it up. So I have black in my shadows, but I'm also pulling some parts of the black out further than I normally would. Again, that's why you want to use a pencil that's made for layering, because if it's too opaque, you'll just cover up all the base colors you just created there. And then you just hurt your wrist for nothing. Isn't it like Back to the Future where he's like, rules, there are no rules? Or am I getting that quote wrong? I just feel like it's something from a movie. Trying to stay in this dinky little box. Oh, it was Grease. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. It had a car, and he said something. All right, Dark Indigo. At least I knew it was a car, and the dude said it. Got the movie and the characters wrong, but whatever. Just remember the car. Oh, no, I want to watch Grease. That was a good movie. But I can't watch any TV because if I watch TV, then I will not focus on my writing. I can only read books and write. That is my life at the moment. Can't get sucked into a TV show. Oh, and for those of you that buy the limited edition boxes from my diamond painting store, it is out. It early released on Black Friday, and then I took it off after. So quite a few have already sold out, but it's back up now with the remainder since it's the first of the month. But one box will actually have a custom pen created by Shimmering Canvases. So someone will win that pen in their box instead of the standard pen it comes with. And it's like a $55 pen if you go and buy it from her, just as my kind of Christmas thank you. But it'll just be picked at random. But they are back up since it's the first. I think they sold out by like 50% though on, or 50% of them sold on Black Friday. So there's only half left. Okay, Warm Gray, number 6. Warm Gray, number 6. But I had a few people messaging me about where it went. And I was like, oh, I released it early for Black Friday, but then it was off after Black Friday, just kind of as a Black Friday fun special. But the giveaway applies no matter if you bought it on Black Friday or now. It's a really cute pen. I had her custom make it to match the box's theme, because I did not have time to make a pen. So, the owner is named Dawn, and I was like, Dawn, help me. I don't have time. All right. We're back on our Indanthrone blue. And if you can't tell, black is a color that you'll sit there and layer for a while. All right. Let's see. Now I've got my cold gray, number 4. I keep screwing myself up because I got 4 and 6 out, and I'm like swapping the numbers. Roman numerals and all that. There was a time in my life where I could write down all the Roman numerals. I don't remember how to do that now. I wonder if it's like riding a bike if I sat down and wrote them out. Probably not. All right. Then I got my black. Just adding it here and there. And this color is one that looks a lot better on a full head of hair. I didn't use this exact combo on a Halloween live stream, but there is a live stream somewhere lurking on my channel where I did a black hair, but I think I used Loomies for it. Because Loomies has some really good, like, warmer grays that are excellent for black hair combos, and they're blues. So that's somewhere lurking, but it's a few years old. All right, back to dark indigo. And if you're curious how many layers this can take, well, it takes as many as it takes till it looks how I want it. Which is why I use a pencil that can layer. If this was Pro Colors, I'd probably be here till next Sunday. I honestly have not used my artist pencils, Durant Artist, for hair, but I should. They're pretty hard pencil and they're light, so they could layer up nice. I keep meaning to try that out. And the lighting is a little bright in here. Because right here is looking like all lighter than it really is on camera. All right. Now we're on to our Indian Throne Blue. We're almost there, I promise. Although I could sit here and perfect this for a few more hours. I just don't want to draw it out. Just trying to get those spots. All right, cold gray number 4. I'm gonna bring those down a little, bring that down a little. How the heck did you find that? That video's like so old. That's before I had my art studio, so like almost 3 years old, isn't it? All right, warm gray number 6. That was fast. I'm impressed. I did it for Halloween. I know, she's the link ninja. So if you get dust while you're layering up all these polys, then you're pressing too hard. Because when you're doing hair, you should not be pressing hard anyways, because you want to be able to make your layers. You don't have to sit here and perfect it like me, but I just do this because, yeah. All right, and then I got my black. I'm just fixing a few spots right here that I don't like. And just remember, if a pencil is softer and waxier, you're going to get build up a lot faster. So like I know I had some requests with Arctics. Arctics build up pretty quickly. They get all shiny and icky. So some pencils, you kind of have to keep that in mind when you're making colors, and then especially your combos, keep it in mind when you're picking combos or colors for your combos. Like if I was doing a red hair with Arctics, I'd have to tone down some of the pencils because eventually I'm not going to be able to keep layering. However, I might actually approach Arctics similar to Prisma. Maybe not though, they're not quite as opaque. Yeah. So the camera's not showing it as well as I want it to because of my lighting, but that is, I'm going to take a little bit of my lightest blue, not a light blue, but that is black hair with a little bluish tinge to it. And like I said, I'll take a picture after. Okay. But there is the black hair. Let's see. All right, let me get these put away real quick. Okay. I'm going to do a purple, pink, blue, lighter color for a fairy effect. After I put all these pencils away. Now the one thing with polys for kind of like more of an ethereal color is polys don't necessarily have a lot of light pencils. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But let's do like a purplish blue pink thing going on. So to pull that off, you have to use your blue violets, or well, try to use your blue violets. It helps. But also I'm going to have to break out some of like my sky blue and stuff like that because of the colors. Because the next lightest thing they have is like their light cobalt turquoise, but it's not going to jive with what I'm doing here. So, let's see. We'll do a blue violet. Let's see, where's my blue violet? Actually, I'm going to use I'll use blue violet. Purple violet. Where's that one? Okay, so violet. And then we're going to roll right into our pinks. Do I approach long, straight hair differently? No, not really. Same thing. You just have to, anytime you're coloring hair, hang on. I'm like, do I have a portrait nearby? So anytime you're coloring hair, I mean, her hair is still wavy, but you just need to consider where the light source is and where you want to put your highlights. Obviously, long straight hair is still going to have light hitting it. So if your light source is from above, then you're going to have highlights up here. And then say the hair's draping over the shoulder, then there would be a highlight where it's starting to curve over the shoulder. So you just have to consider with long hair, you're still going to have highlight spots. And then, of course, you need to give it, I can't think of the word right now. Not necessarily, can't think of the word. Either way, think of where hair would highlight, because even if you have long straight hair, it's touched by light and it's got something curving somewhere. Oh, sorry for the dogs. You were going to hear bark, but we have our trainer's dog here, and she's trained to be a guard dog, so she does indeed bark while huskies only talk. Okay, so I've got my violet. Actually, I'm going to make this lighter because the request was to make it lighter. So let me do that. So we'll do violet. Sorry for the barking. Middle purple pink. Where's my light magenta? This is just going to take me a sec to pull all these colors I want. Pink Matter Lake. Okay. And then I need, I wish they had just something slightly in the middle of what I want here, but they don't. I guess I'll go with, so if I draw it into that, and we'll make it work. All right, so I've got the blue. This is just going to take a couple other colors to make it blend together. So I got my violet. What color was this one? She's actually a really funny dog. And we've been getting a lot of doorbell ditchers lately because, yeah, high school and all those kids that think they're oh so funny. So it's kind of funny when we watch her because I really want someone to knock on the door so I can just tell her to go chase them. She'll come back, don't worry. I won't let her actually attack them, but she will scare the crap out of them, and that's my goal. I just want her to scare them. Trying to find a good transition color here, and I don't like any of my options. So I'm going to have to go with middle purple pink. But yeah, I'm just waiting for them to ring that doorbell so I can sticker on them just to scare them. And then I'll recall her before she actually catches up to them. But they'll never knock on my door again and run away. But I swear, every time she's here, it's like they know. All right. And then we'll use some ivory, I guess. So this one's going to be a little harder to make lighter. Simply because, like I said, there's not a lot of light colors in... Actually, we're going to use cloud gray or cold gray. There's not a lot of light colors that go in the polychromo line. I wish there was, but yeah, they don't have it. So I'm gonna make this work. Okay, let me sharpen these. I have a really fun one. In fact, I have a picture of it. Hang on. Where'd it go? I know it's around here somewhere. I have a nice ethereal one that I do with... This one's just purple, but this is done with Pro Color. Where's my other one that's all ethereal-like? Might be downstairs. But I do have one. It's just a matter of having light colors. Okay. Yep, I should have left more space here. So we are going to use violet, which is 138. Middle purple pink, 125. Pink Matter Lake, 129. Light magenta, 119. Sky blue, 146. And then cold gray numero 1. Is that 230? Yeah, it's 230. Again, I'm using the numbers because 1, writing them down is a pain, but 2, depending on how old your set is, color names do change. So, all right, we're going to start with violet, but we don't want to use a ton of violet. But we do need a little shadow here. Another set of pencils that's really good for making like a nice ethereal style hair color would be, because they have a whole range of colors. And I'm not saying you have to use all pastel colors. You shouldn't, because it'll actually put together and look like a pastel mess. But you still need those lighter shades. Okay. And I'm gonna kind of put that in there for her little. And I keep referring to it as a she, but you could use this on men too. Although male hair is a little different, unless it's long hair. Okay. Now we are grabbing our middle purple pink. Again, this is a darker color, so I don't want to go too crazy here. But I need something to layer on top of my violet. All right. Okay. Then we're going to grab Pink Matter Lake. This one, so with these colors, I'm going to be a little lighter handed. And I'm putting them down to make them lighter looking than they really are. Just like barely touching the paper. We're grazing the paper with the color, if you will. Okay, and then light magenta. Okay, then we've got our sky blue. Sorry for the noise. I think my kids have forgotten that I stream on Sunday. That's what happens when you skip a few weeks. They forget. Even though I'm locked up here. All right. Now with this sky blue, I'm actually putting it over some of the purple and pink. But I'm dragging it out further. I'll have to take a picture and put it up of the one I'm working on downstairs. It's like I said, it's with Pro Color, but I've got purples and blues and pinks all mixed in there. It's a really fun combo. It's just taking forever because I have so many colors I'm using for it. And it's in a braid too, so you have just these tiny little areas. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it'll never end. All right, so we've got our cold gray numero 1. It's just kind of gonna go in here because I don't want white space. Okay, we're back to our violet. Oh man, after sitting here doing this, I don't know if I want to make a Thanksgiving dinner. I wonder if I could pawn it off on my husband. It's your day off, dear. Make Thanksgiving dinner. Excuse me. Okay. He hasn't even read my book, so he wouldn't get it. Middle purple pink. Like I gave him the paperback and because he wanted to read it. And then I was like, I need it back because I need to make highlights for TikTok. And I was like, how far did you get? And he's like, the first page. All right. Not that I blame him. I mean, it's a romance novel. Not many men are sitting there going, I'm going to read this. They should. Then they'd understand why we like our book boyfriends. But hey, just one gal's opinion. Yeah, that's what I mean. Could learn a lot. Become my book boyfriend. This is my book boyfriend right here. Read this book. It's like a manual. Pink Matter Lake. Everything he does, I expect you to do 2 times better. I actually had to explain what book boyfriend meant because he was like, what do you mean book boyfriend? I was like, you're such a guy. Good times, good times. All right, now we're back to my light magenta. Now, if I did this with Black Widows, I would have so many good light colors. Like ice cream. Oh my gosh, I love that color. I need to actually order another set of Monarchs. Yes, you can get Black Widow open stock, but I just buy the whole new set because I actually use all my Black Widow pencils. Do I go through some colors faster than others? Yes, but they have so many colors that are super close that, oh my gosh, sorry for the barking. That if I were to buy the whole set, it's not a big deal. They'll get used. But I do need to add another set of Monarchs. All right. Now we're back to our sky blue, which I'm going to pull more towards the center. And when you overlap it with the other pinks, it kind of creates a nice purple effect. It's a dual purpose. So one little trick I've learned to save your hand is when you're doing hair, if you can't flip your pencil super easy, like just do, 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 then you're holding it too tight, which means your hand's going to cramp. You should be able to just like flip it around in your fingers. Then that means you're using the perfect amount of pressure. And if you have to, hold it back a little bit further. Okay, back to my light magenta. And then eventually flipping pencils becomes like, you don't even notice you're doing it anymore. I know the blue is not showing up on camera, but it is indeed blue. Turn down my brightness. And so this is also why I use hard pencils, because I don't have to sit here and sharpen a lot. Whereas if I was using a softer pencil, yeah, I would already be like on a nub with the Prismacolor. Okay. I'm actually going to grab my light phthalo blue as well. Yep. Okay. So we're also going to add light phthalo blue. So yes, this will have a few more colors. 145. You know what's really hard is to write a number when you've been sitting here flicking color. Your hand feels like a little wobbly. Oh yeah, when you're writing, you're flipping your pen. Like, whoops. I actually don't do that. But I always write in cursive, so perhaps that's the thing, because my pen just stays on the page. I'm too lazy to lift that. So this is light phthalo blue. I'm adding it just a little bit closer to the center. It's a little bit brighter than the sky blue, because honestly, the sky blue from Polychromos isn't really a sky blue to me. I don't know. We all see colors so differently, but for me, I'm just like, that's not really. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's getting there. Let's take our pink Madder Lake. Just add a tiny bit of more pink here, lightly, very lightly, because this is a brighter pink. Okay. And I'm just going to grab my light magenta. Just add it in a few spots. All right, and then we're going to go back to our phthalo blue. Halo, phthalo, whatever. That blue. I'm also dragging it down here a little bit towards the roots that aren't existent at the moment, but would be. Just because I want to overlap some of that purple. Okay. There's our little ethereal hair. I could seriously sit here and keep layering, but I won't. But I could, as I am right now, because I can't help myself. But yeah. So it takes a few colors, but with the Polychromos, that's how you would make that one. It's just a matter of kind of I don't know, lightly using your colors and not pressing, because like, so for example, here's violet, pink matter, lake. I mean, they're just darker. Like light magenta was literally like the lightest, but see, like sky blue, that's still pretty dark, and so is that one. So it's kind of just a matter of laying down your colors lightly. And then, oh my gosh, how do you spell ethereal? We'll have to come back to that. I'm gonna misspell this. We'll write it in a minute. E-T-H-E, isn't it E-T-H-E and then real? It's gotta be, right? So what was that? 7 colors? Yeah, that happens. All right. So we've got in 2 hours 6 combos, but hey, hair takes work, people. So if you want to make hair look realistic, you have to kind of sit there and be willing to sacrifice some time and layer upon layer. And like I said, it's actually more difficult in these tiny little boxes than if I was doing a whole head of hair. Because if I was doing a whole head of hair, oh yeah, I would have spelled it right. Look at that. I can spell. If I was doing a whole head of hair, I would be covering a lot more space. And yes, I mix my capitals and lowercase. I would be covering a lot more space. So when you're in like these little boxes, sometimes it's taking a little longer. Plus you're like, okay, well, I want my shading here. So a little bit longer, but we've got that set so far. And then what I'll do is, if you have specific requests, put them in the comments after the live stream ends, and I'll see them and I can add those. Obviously, I'll be doing quite a few browns. I'll add in some reds. I'll even add in some other pinks and purples and all that. But these were just kind of getting us started. But it's already been 2 hours and a girl can only do this so much. But I'll keep working on these and have a set of Polychromos hair for you guys soon. So thanks for hanging out for a little bit on Sunday. And hopefully you guys have a good Monday. It's Cyber Monday tomorrow, and mine's going to be very, very busy. But I am going to head off and get ready to cook a Thanksgiving Sunday dinner. So bye, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Bye now.